This is Story Recapped. Today I'm going to explain a drama, fantasy and horror film called Look Away. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. 17-year-old Maria Brennan prepares for school. She eats a fancy breakfast in their fancy home with her parents, Dan and Amy. After eating, Maria heads out to smoke. Her friend Lily steals her cigarette and they greet each other with friendly insults. Inside the school bus, a bully named Mark blocks Maria's path. They arrive at school and it's quickly shown how timid and outcasted Maria is. Later that day, Maria and Lily hang out by the school's ice rink. Lily is a figure skater and she skates to her boyfriend Sean. They make out and Maria stares with jealous and depressed eyes. At home, Amy asks Maria about plans for prom. Maria doesn't want to go because she thinks prom's stupid. She snaps at her mother and walks out. Unlike the typical overprotective father, Dan worries about Maria's lack of interest in boys, or anything social for that matter. Maria eavesdrops and hears her father calling her screwed up. In her parents' room, Maria heads to the vanity table to try and put makeup on. She stops and catches a glimpse of something sticking out on the mirror's edge. It's a sonogram of twins, and this leaves Maria with an ominous feeling. In the middle of the night, Maria tends to herself on the bathroom countertop. As she's about to finish, her reflection on the mirror suddenly looks at her. This makes Maria fall. She stands and wipes the steam off her mirror. Little by little, she reveals her reflection, which still moves on its own. Maria runs out of the bathroom, afraid and in disbelief. Morning arrives and Maria approaches her parents with something on her mind. To relieve her anxiety, she tries to tell Dan about last night. However, he completely ignores her concerns and says she looks terrible. Dan then encourages Maria to put some makeup on. On her way to the bus, Maria sees Mark waiting for her. Lily arrives in her brand new Porsche to fetch Maria. Before joining Lily, Maria flips Mark off. The two wait outside Sean's house. Maria scooches to the back and the couple start making out. Along the hallways of the school, Mark trips Maria. Sean helps her up and shoves Mark. Maria has never had someone fight for her. They exchange smiles and continue to class. At home, Maria relaxes in her bathtub, enjoying time away from the unkind world. While she submerges, a baby's cries are suddenly heard. Visions of Maria's birth play in her head, disrupting her relaxation. After the bath, Maria is unable to sleep. A voice calls out her name and she follows it. Maria returns to the bathroom to talk to her reflection, Aram. Aram is her polar opposite. She's confident, charismatic, and has a dominating aura. Aram proposes to help Maria with her problems. Aram is who Maria wants to be and could be, an assertive woman that won't let anyone step on her. The following day at the breakfast table, Amy and Dan see Maria's change. She announces that she wants to go to prom after all. At school, Maria speaks to Lily about wanting to learn how to skate for winter prom. Lily agrees and they schedule skating for tomorrow. Somewhere in the city, Maria visits her father's clinic. Dan is a plastic surgeon. Outside, the receptionist chats with Maria while she waits for her father. Dan greets Maria, but a patient asks to meet with him. Maria watches as her father checks the patient's nose, seeing a suspicious tension between them. An awkward situation arises as Maria and Dan watch a movie with inappropriate scenes. She then sees Mark, who's on a date. They quickly exit the theatre and Maria seems anxious. She bumps into Mark and he introduces himself to her father. Mark says his goodbyes and offers Maria a fist bump. She doesn't leave him hanging and Mark and his friends laugh as they leave. On their way home, Dan brings up Maria's upcoming birthday. He invites her to the clinic tomorrow for an early present. Back in the bathroom, Aram confronts Maria about her father. She doesn't think Dan genuinely cares about her, but Maria is in denial. With the promise of a car for her birthday, Maria believes Dan wants her to be safe from Mark and the other bullies. The next day after school, Maria visits her father's clinic. Instead of a car, her father's gift is a procedure. He notices that Maria never wears her hair back, so he plans to shrink her ears. He also plans to slim down Maria's nose. All this makes her feel emotional as she realizes that her father can't accept her imperfections. Later that night, Maria admits that Aram was right. Aram then shifts focus to their mother. They think Amy is weak for putting up with Dan's toxicity. The two laugh as they talk about how messed up their family is. Suddenly, Amy enters the room and asks who Maria was talking to. Amy begins searching for drugs, and this makes Maria laugh manically. She leaves and talks to Dan about Maria's odd behavior. Instead of listening, Dan makes Amy drink medication to calm her down. He then applies a mask cream on her face. Amy shares that her nightmares are coming back, and Dan assures her that they'll go away like they usually do. The next day, Maria and Lily drive to a clubhouse they frequented when they were kids. It's now abandoned and they start practicing. Lily convinces Maria to let go and she immediately falls. While she struggles to stand up, Lily ignores her. She then tells Maria to stay away from Sean. At home, Maria talks to Aram about Lily. Aram tells Maria that Lily, like every other person in her life, doesn't care about her. She reminds Maria of all the times Lily was mean to her. Ever since they were children, Maria ignored all the signs of their toxic friendship. Aram tells Maria that she's her only friend now, and Aram can take all the hurt away. Maria just has to exchange places with Aram and give her control of her life. They join their hands, and just as they're about to kiss, Amy calls Maria. Maria wears her prom dress, and Amy can't help but feel proud. At the winter prom, Maria reaches the ice rink. She's overwhelmed by the people, the lights, and the loud music. She's unable to let go as she's scared of falling. But then Sean approaches and takes her hand. They make their way to the middle of the rink and they dance. While they intimately hold each other, Maria sees an unhappy Lily. This makes Maria trip and fall. Sean hurries to help her, but Lily stops him. Mark then reaches out his hand. Maria takes it, but Mark begins pulling her all over the ice. The students watch and laugh as Maria gets dragged. Finally, Mark stops, and Maria leaves feeling embarrassed. In the bathroom, Maria calls Aram. She decides to exchange places with her. They touch hands, and as tears roll down their cheeks, they kiss. In her room, Maria, now Aram, smokes a cigarette. In her parents' bedroom, Amy is having a nightmare. Amy dreams about her childbirth where she screams in pain. Morning arrives and Amy asks Aram about prom. She lies and says everything went perfectly. At school, Aram stands before the entrance with a sinister and determined look. As she makes her way to class, Mark teases her. Aram turns and sees them mocking her. She slowly approaches Mark and he stops laughing. Aram provokes Mark by caressing his crotch and licking his ear. He's speechless and Aram walks away. Sean catches up to Aram to return her pin. Lily interrupts them and Sean leaves because of her. Lily tries to comfort her, but Aram is aware of her fake friendliness. Aram then requests Lily to teach her how to skate again. At the clubhouse, Aram practices skating on her own. After some time, she visits her father at the clinic. Dan is surprised to see her. Suddenly, Aram leans in to kiss his cheek. She says that she has missed him and leaves just like that. Aram asks the receptionist to prepare some hot chocolate for her. While she's away, Aram snoops at her logbook and calls a patient. She informs the patient of an opening for an appointment and books her. Aram then reminds the receptionist to call her mother and tell her to come down to the clinic for a date with Dan. At home, Amy receives a call and is thrilled about Dan wanting to take her out on a date. After a while, Aram sees Amy and the patient enter the building at the same time. In the elevator, they both try to look their best, unaware that they're there for the same person. Amy compliments the woman's dress and she reveals that the dress is Dan's favourite. This leaves Amy shocked and heartbroken. During dinner, Aram asks Amy where Dan is. Amy is not in the mood and just nods to her questions. Aram smiles at her mother, who's still in denial of Dan's infidelity. She urges her mother to tell the truth and accept that her father prefers other women to her. Feeling attacked, Amy slaps her daughter. She immediately apologizes, but Aram is unfazed and leaves. In the bathroom, Maria is now in the reflection. She confronts Aram about her recent actions. Aram orders her to stop disagreeing with her as she's only doing what Maria was too afraid to do. At the clubhouse, Aram is now a significantly better skater. She hangs out by the ice rink and observes Lily skating with her mentor. While Aram zones out, Mark rams the barrier. After practice, Mark separates from his team and sees Aram in the distance. He follows her to the locker room and hears the showers running. Mark sneaks to take a peek, and behind him is Aram. She hits his knee with a hockey stick, dislocating it. Mark screams in pain, and Maria quiets him down and smiles. Aram and Lily are on their way to the clubhouse. On the ice, Lily is shocked at Aram's improvements. Lily shows off with a trick. Aram does the same, surprising Lily even more. She does another trick, and Aram copies her again. Tension grows as their competitiveness shines. After Lily does a more complex trick, Aram fails in doing it. Aram regains footing and stares Lily down. She begins chasing her, increasingly getting faster. Lily tears up, and this makes her trip and fall. Her head hits the hard cement and she lies there bleeding. Aram watches her so-called friend die. On her phone screen, Maria is seen crying. Aram calls the authorities, acting all scared and innocent. Her cold, emotionless look returns afterwards. At home, a detective wants to question Aram, but Amy convinces them to return at another time. In the bathroom, Maria asks Aram did what she did. Aram believes that this is what Maria wants deep down. However, what Maria wants now is for them to switch places. But Aram isn't finished. At Lily's funeral, Sean is seen amongst the crowd grieving. The detective gives his condolences to Sean and engages in eye contact with Aram. Aram is about to leave when Sean stops her. Sean then hugs and comforts his girlfriend's killer. Late at night, Aram sneaks out to visit Sean. He meets her by the door, and in his room he offers Aram a joint to help her forget the pain. While they talk about Lily, Aram sits in front of Sean. She turns, looks at him intently, and confesses that she's been fantasizing about him. Aram slides her hands onto Sean's crotch, and he asks her to stop, but Aram starts kissing his neck. They know what they're about to do is wrong, but that makes it feel so much more right. Sean gives in and gets on top of Aram. On a different night, a waiter serves some fresh crab to Aram. She's on a dinner date with her father. Dan asks her how she's doing, and despite the accident happening just a few days ago, Aram seems entirely unaffected. Dan hasn't been going home because he and Amy are still fighting, so Aram asks when he plans to patch things up. Dan says he'll try, but then gets distracted by Aram's loud slurps. She starts to act unladylike and rude, causing Dan to get mad. He pulls out his phone and shows Aram her childish behaviour. Dan then calls her pathetic and orders her to sit properly. Aram obliges, but resentment brews inside her. In class, Aram tears a piece of paper and rubs it on her nether regions. Sean receives the note and remembers the familiar scent. Both of them cut class and leave school in Sean's car. In Aram's room, they grieve Lily together by recreating what she and Sean used to do all the time, making love. The next day, Aram sees the police outside of school. She suggests that they cut class again, but Sean is reluctant. Eventually, Sean gives in and they check in a motel. Aram brought with her a bottle of liquor. Sean's phone suddenly rings. It's his mother calling because the police want to interrogate them. Sean plans to leave, but Aram refuses to go. Aram tries to tempt Sean with kisses, and she whispers for him to stay. Sean shoves her and asks why she's avoiding the police. His growing suspicion makes Aram feel antagonized, pushing her to hit him with the bottle. Sean falls to the floor and his blood seeps into the carpet. Aram goes to the bathroom and sees a hysterical Maria. They lean on one another, miserable and defeated. At home, Amy is having another nightmare. In her dream, she hears Dan telling her past self about Maria's twin. She was deformed, and Dan thought there was no point in letting the baby live, so he euthanized her. Dan just finished working, and as he brushes his teeth, he hears the doorbell ring. Aram is at the door, too weak to stand on her own. Dan carries her to the operating table and fetches her some water. Aram drinks but loses grip of the cup. This frustrates Dan, and as he dries himself up, he turns to see a topless Aram. He shouts for her to wear her clothes, but instead Aram strips even more. Aram then asks if her father thinks she's beautiful. He says yes, and Aram asks once again if he'll love her even if she's deformed. Dan answers that he'll love her no matter what. Aram then takes a scalpel and slits her father's throat. He falls to the floor and bleeds out. Aram asks her dead father why he couldn't love her back then. She cleans up, looks at the mirror, and calls for Maria. However, Maria isn't responding. Aram leaves the clinic and finds that on every reflective surface, Maria isn't there. Finally, Aram arrives home and she joins Amy in bed. In the final shot, Aram and Maria both lie with their mother. By the end, Maria disappeared because she and Aram essentially merged. Both their lives had no more meaning. Aram got her revenge and Maria got hers. And in the process, they both lost everything, circling back to the sad realization that they can't hide behind a mirror anymore.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.